Hi, I'm Eric Dewey from the Socially Awkward Studios, Science and Beer, and Her Majesty's Secret Podcast, and you're listening to another proud presentation of the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Check out more shows at foureyedradio.com. This Four-Eyed Radio production is brought to you by America Joy Print Shop. All your printing needs taken care of in one convenient place. Visit americajoy.com for business cards, flyers, banners, decals, car wraps, and more. Visit americajoy.com.
Save file corrupted.
Hey, paisanos! It's the Super Mario Brothers Super Show!
With the Mario Brothers and plumbing's our game. We're not like the others who get all the fame. If your sink is in trouble, you can call us on the double. We're faster than the others, you'll be hooked on the brothers. Hooked on the brothers.
Welcome, gamers and gamettes, to Save File Corrupted.
That's me.
Your one-stop source for a handful of news articles.
Yeah.
And
handful of interesting news articles that we pick.
And save files which are corrupted.
Yeah.
We'll give you those if you listen. We'll give you those if you don't listen.
You can tell us your stories of your recent, trials of corrupted save files.
Yeah.
Tell us how it went. Tell us how you felt.
My Deus Ex, gone forever.
My Battlefield ranking
My dragon.
disappeared.
My Dragon Age Origins. Gone forever.
It's like really just a support group. We just throw the news in there to throw them off, but that's what it's really about.
Yeah.
Apparently Shaq's in the news, though.
Yeah, that's right. Well, first, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Prometheus.
I'm Bobby Beetle.
And I'm Agamemnon.
And we're all excited for the rumors. As Shaquille O'Neal says, there might be a Shaq Fu 2. Because I know all fighting game fanatics loved the first one and can't wait for a second one. My favorite thing about it isn't even just the fact that he semi-announced it, because you can't tell if he's just trolling. Because I would think Shaq would have enough wherewithal to know that that game was such a joke. But I mean, I can actually see them bringing it back and making it maybe decent.
I don't know. I think it's a joke. I think he'll just messing around.
But because didn't he buy the company or something, or the website? He put down some money. Now they didn't have money to spare, but he put down some Benjamins, I believe.
Shaq's never spent a paycheck of his NBA career.
Oh yeah, is it all just on Nike sponsorships?
Yeah, he spends all his money from his sponsorships.
That's what you do.
Oh yeah.
The
I thought
rest
he had a Reebok sponsorship.
Well,
and
whatever.
Icy hot. The need is on. The pain is gone.
Oh, and Shaq Soda.
Yeah,
Shaq soda.
Yeah, Shaq Soda.
You ever see those?
That's a thing.
Oh my god, you got to go to the corner store, go to 7-Eleven, and it's just this weird look on his face, and it's these weird sodas.
They exist
Like
now?
creepy.
Yes,
it's
they
like this
exist now.
really creeper come on. You know you want some.
I think
you want some Shaq Soda.
You're going cold.
Shaquille O'Neal, you want some Shaq Soda.
I think that's what makes
Shaquille
it that much more ridiculous, because had it came out around when Shaq Fu and he was in all these movies, it would have med more sense. But it's all of a sudden, you go in the grocery store and you're just why is Shaq's face on a beverage?
It's good.
But I think it's funny. My favorite thing about the article is actually the comments, because one of the comments is I know that people like to dog on this game, but it was actually really good. And all I could think was no. I owned that game for Sega Genesis, and it was terrible. It's not terrible because it's Shaq, and it's just a silly concept. Because that's probably the most appealing thing about it, is that it's ridiculous. It's silly. Here it is. To be honest, Shaq Fu isn't even bad. It's just the concept of Shaquille O'Neal in a fighting game that made people flip their shit. It looks pretty well animated. The system mechanics look fine. The roster is unique, and I give Shaq Fu a chance, or Shaq Fu 2 a chance.
The system mechanics were fine?
That was the worst part about it. None of the moves worked.
No. He says it looks pretty well animated. The system mechanics look fine. He never even played it. His comment is irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, he probably only saw a Let's Play or something.
I played it on the Game Gear. It was awful. But anybody you talk to that played the game, no matter what console, it was awful. It was awful all around.
The moves did not work. It used the same fighting game mechanics as a really broken down Street Fighter 2, but the moves didn't work. I remember because my sister wanted the game, and I remember making her deals if I beat this game, then we have to trade it in and get a game I want. She's deal. So I sat there for hours playing this stupid game, and I finally beat it.
Can I comment on that second comment?
Stephen Hunt.
Yeah,
if you weren't, I was going to.
Oh yeah, you go.
No, go ahead.
No, here's the thing. I'm glad someone agrees with me. I mean, I'll admit that it's not all that good either, but I definitely played worse fighters. Okay, so there's a Sailor Moon fighting game for Super Nintendo that I watched Spooky and Arturo play, like in a rain, like the rain thing for cancer or whatever, like 2 years ago or something for charity. Like Nerd Josh and stuff plays all those old games. But yeah, it was like that and the Eric Guy Eats, like God Bless the Ring, the Final Fantasy one. Like, there's definitely worse fighters. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just like that doesn't mean.
But this is the worst well-known fighter.
Yeah, this one's high profile. Like they actually put money and time into this.
Yeah.
And Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, they got the backboard breaking Shaquille O'Neal.
It's not hard to find a worse game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we're saying. We're saying it's a very bad game.
Yeah, for a game that like anyone who played video games in that era knows about. Like I didn't know there was a Sailor Moon fighting game. That's more obscure, you know. But it's like everyone knows about Shaq Fu. That's how bad it was. It was like not as bad as like E.T. It's not E.T. bad, but it was like
it's not Big Mother Truckers bad.
Hey, cram it up your muffler. But I don't know. I think if they did make a Shaq Fu, I would actually give it a shot, just because it's the silliness of it.
Tech Knight said Shaq Fu actually got me back into fighting games. Where were you? Like where? Where were you in the first place when you started?
I didn't like Street Fighter 2 that much. Like that's really the only fighting game that was available.
This guy's got to be trolling.
Yeah,
because Street Fighter 2 pretty much invented the fighting game genre. It's just like, how did you get? Unless it's like maybe he meant like you discovered it like years later.
Yeah, because you were either playing Street Fighter or like Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, if you weren't like big on like anything else, you were just like into what the kids that were into at your school. You were playing Mortal Kombat or you were playing Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then Shaq Fu came out and I was like, yeah, it's not better than either of those, you know.
This is about to be perfect. So, read what Spabobin and the guy who replied to him.
Spabobin.
I agree with Spabobin.
Replies, do you own the game, Captain What the Fuck? Have you even tried moving, jumping, or inputting special moves? And then Captain WTF replies, no, I haven't actually. I'm just going by what I've seen. Wait.
No, he's the first.
Yeah, it's the same dude.
He's calling out the first guy.
Yeah.
So
it looks pretty well animated system. Yeah, and he says all this stuff, but like I've never. That's like saying like the old Fantastic Four movie looks great, like the one from the 80s. Well, everything looked good. I'm sure it was a good movie. Like no, it wasn't. That's why they tried to like forget about it and dig it under some demolished casino in Nevada.
Yeah, and Garrett Jones says to Captain What the Fuck, who is supporting the game without actually playing it, he says, why the fuck are you giving your opinion on something about which you know nothing?
Thank you. Did you notice I only gave my opinion on the things I did know about? What the hell kind of question is that anyways?
What? You didn't know anything about the game.
So he quoted Captain WTF's by saying, to be honest, Shaq Fu isn't even bad. And then he elaborates. In order to qualify something, you typically need to have experienced it. Never mind that. You fit in well with this generation of reviewers whose opinions read like a horoscope.
I love how the first thing Captain What the Fuck addresses is just like, I'm not a reviewer, I'm a guy.
On the internet.
Pause. Stating an opinion. Pause. To experience a game, you don't necessarily have to have played it. Pause. Based on what I've seen, heard, and know already, I have decided that I don't think this game is bad. Not good, but not bad. I don't even see why this is a big deal to you. Didn't you say you get paid or have some sort of status or classification to state an uninformed opinion? I just don't see the point of telling people how little you know. How far do you extend this in your life? Do you have discussions with your friends just for appearances or to be noticed? Hey guys, me too. What? This is Captain WTF again. You started off having a valid point, then it just kind of turned into nonsense. Where did the "hey guys, me too" even come from?
God,
I'm obviously not agreeing with you. I just don't really have a problem with the concept of being wrong. If that's what you mean, whatever. Can we just agree to disagree here? This conversation has no real goal anymore anyway. First of all, you don't have to put "anyway" at the end of that sentence. I just want that to be known.
I want to read the average guy tag. The average guy tag. That's his actual name. He just jumped in and said
he quotes Captain.
He quoted Captain What the Fuck, and Captain What the Fuck said, "To experience a game, you don't necessarily have to have played it." In which the average guy tag says, "You're going to tell me that you can judge whether a fighter, of all things, is a good or bad without knowing anything about the gameplay, let alone actually playing it." I agree with that with any game, but yeah, with a fighter specifically.
So Captain What the Fuck says, "Wow. So this is what it's like to say something people don't like. That's new. All right. I've seen and played much worse than what Shaq Fu is purported to be. I frequent the Mugen Guild. All right,
Wow.
First, okay, I don't even want to read the rest. Mugen? Really? That's a mod. It's not even a game.
Yeah.
It's a mod. It's a freeware mod that nobody profits off of.
Mm-hmm.
So that you can have Peter Griffin fight Blanca.
Everybody's dream.
Fighting Sub-Zero, fighting Popeye.
Fighting a ham sandwich.
No lie, there's like footage of that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Like Peter Griffin like having like a fart special.
I want to be the
Hey,
Arby's.
but all Captain What the Fuck was saying, all he wanted to say was that Shaq Fu is not worth condemning to hell for things that, from what I understand, can easily be fixed in a sequel to the game,
Oh,
or
but
at
it
this day and
totally
age,
is.
an
It totally
update. Where's that update for Shaq Fu? We're not going to get an update for Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Dude, I want my Shaq Fu update. I think that's like of all the garbage he spit out of
Wow,
his
this
mouth.
actually keeps going.
I
think
don't
we're done.
care.
Yeah,
I
we're
don't
done.
wanna- The only thing I want to say about Captain What the Fuck, I don't think he's a real captain. I think he forged his rank.
He's Captain. Captain.
Dude, even Captain Crunch wouldn't recruit
I like
him
the
in
average
his
guy
army.
tag just keeps like
He keeps quoting him.
he keeps quoting him and like breaking him down, and Captain What the Fuck is just like, I'm getting tired of this and I'm going to try and keep going until this is resolved. It doesn't get resolved.
You're just like, if I still had my copy, I would just send it to him, be like, play this game, and then tell me what you think.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yeah. So to summarize, we're all very excited for Shaq Fu
Control is
2.
bad. Hitboxes are bad. Hit stun is bad.
I mean, all things that
Yeah.
Captain WTF has no idea. What is hit stun? What is hitbox?
No, what are controls?
What are
I mean, you actually have
controls?
to play the game.
What are controls?
You can't just look at a still on the back of the box.
That's right.
All
Anyway.
right, moving on.
Games that actually came out in this generation, Hitman.
It's all you, Prometheus.
So I played the last Hitman. I was a little bit disappointed because it was a little bit too linear.
You
But
heard about that?
yeah, but despite the fact that the sales weren't really that great, they are planning a sequel. And basically they're going to say it has the largest levels yet.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's cool. But I mean,
It's going to be the same gameplay.
that doesn't necessarily like
It's a
address
large linear.
How was the
level.
actual gameplay?
the actual mechanics of the game were great.
They're good.
Because that was the thing that made me really excited. Because I saw one of the, I think it was like 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay, and it's like the way the AI reacts. For the most part, they've improved it. The actual cover system is great. So the actual mechanics of the game are very good. The only problem is like you have to beat the game, or they want you to beat the level like in certain ways. Like you can't really use a whole lot of creativity.
It's not like with the new Splinter Cell game where there's like that 3 modes and you get rewarded depending on how you beat the level.
Yeah, they basically play
But
like
you basically get to choose whether you want to be stealthy, whether you want a combination of stealthy or like aggressive and then
The
aggressive.
Splinter Cell is like point A to point B, get there how you like.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
grade you along the
here's
way.
a room. Here's 3 rooms, like a 3-level
Yeah.
house. Get in however you want to. Kill them in whatever order you want, and incapacitate or kill your enemies
Yeah.
if you choose.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
And here's all these gadgets to do it with.
Yeah,
And then-
Splinter Cell is like BK. You can have it your way. Like
Yeah, there you
Hitman
go.
is like you can do it your way, but you're gonna get like penalized for it. Like
Yeah.
like I'll be like killing all these people and just getting like negative points. It's like Splinter Cell. Sure, they reward you more if you can just do complete stealth, but they don't penalize you. You just don't get as many points.
Yeah.
But I kill enough people to make up for it, so it doesn't really matter. You know?
The important thing is that you're having fun and you're getting through the level so that you can progress through the game.
And then everybody dies. And then the story was really repetitive. Like, it starts off, and I was kind of interested, and then it's just like, I literally just was playing it to complete it, and I was just like, is this ever going to end? Like, it just keeps going and going. Now, there are some fun levels, and there's some fun, like, kills where it's just like, this is awesome. Like, one of the very last levels, you have to, like, find this safe house. And obviously I'm terrible at stealth, which is probably another reason why I don't like the game, because you have to use good
Yeah.
stealth. So I pretty much kill as many people stealthily as I can before they notice me and then just shoot my way out.
Nice.
And because of the good cover system, I can do that. So
Right.
when I got it down to maybe like 3 or 4 people, I found a katana, and I was just stalking around and stealth killing everyone with a katana. It was my favorite part of the whole game. I was just like, yes, this is the Hitman I want.
Yeah.
And I just felt like more of the game should have been like that, where like if you just want to make, because to me Hitman's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
You're just walking around, here's a guy, just gonna strangle him, drag his body, and throw
So
it in a
strangle him
dumpster.
casually and put his hat on.
And I'm taking his clothes.
Yeah.
Because he's stylish. So I don't know. I'm excited that they are making a new one, despite the fact that I was a little bit disappointed. So hopefully they'll address some of those things. The larger levels, to me, though, is not really a selling point. It's just like, all right, that's cool, I guess. You know,
Yeah.
just let me be creative and kill people in crazy ways, and I'll be happy.
Maybe just wait for a sequel.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, the sequel's going to have
depending on its sales, I don't see Square
Blanked out for a
Enix
second.
putting any money into the Hitman sequel anytime soon.
well, that's the thing. I mean, I was thinking that was probably going to be the last of them, and then I heard that, oh, hey, we're making a sequel. So I guess maybe it's
really?
like,
Okay.
yeah, that was the whole thing. Yeah, the
Here's
levels,
me eating my words.
the levels are going to be bigger in the sequel. So I think
I thought they were doing a reboot of the game. For
I was
next
reading
gen.
an article on the article that says they added contracts mode to the game, so I thought we were talking about.
okay.
I just got it mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the bigger levels is. It's not really gonna make much of a difference if they don't give you your own choices and stuff.
I kind of feel like they will, because I feel like the bigger levels, like, I kind of just skimmed the article, but the whole thing is, like, they're trying to exploit more of what the next gen can do. So I'm hoping that will translate into, more choices and more of a free-flowing game.
Right.
Hopefully it'll be good.
But another game that I love, which is finding a sequel, more of a spiritual successor, Road Rash, the greatest racing game ever. Why is it the greatest racing game ever? I'm terrible at racing games, much like I'm terrible at stealth. And this game is great because you can just smack your fellow racers with a chain, or in Road Rash 2, you had a cattle prod, which was a lot of fun. Or you can just do it the old-fashioned way and just boot them.
Yeah.
Kind of a sideways Duke Nukem kick. So pretty much, I think there was something on Reddit about the creator talking about how he wanted to revamp the series, and I guess he started a Kickstarter to redo the series. And they posted some gameplay footage, and it looks awful.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That bad?
it looks terrible. It looks just, I mean, obviously it's not finished by any means, but if this was my game, I wouldn't put that footage up.
And they're calling it Road Redemption.
the road raid redemption. But it looks terrible. I mean, first of all, they included guns, which, I mean, as much as I love shooting people in video games, it's just like, it's not necessary. You're not trying to kill your opponents. You're just trying to incapacitate them so you can cheaply win.
Yeah.
But it's like the whole thing is like you can get knocked off your bike, but you can still get back on and keep going. You can't if you're dead. And it looks really terrible. It's like I don't know. I don't want guns in my Road Rash. Just give me a chain, a pipe.
I mean, never playing the first one, but I mean, usually when you add guns, you also add distance, and you kind of take away like the how's the word? Kind of like encounters.
Yeah.
You take away the encounters. So obviously this game is going to be online, like any game would be. And you're taking away that encounter aspect, whereas like, if you're playing and there's 5 of you in one match making the race, and 3 of those dudes have guns, well, 2 of those guys are automatically going to be out, unless they're just like that damn good.
Yeah.
But if you have all 5 dudes with like a katana, the cattle prod, chains, or like an oil slick or something, dude, you're going to have all 5 dudes like riding up on each other, hitting each other, trying to boot each other off the bike. And it's just like, that's like fun. It's high pace. It's like stressful. It makes you want to go faster. Makes you want to slow down so that they speed up and then you get behind them. You're just being crafty. But if you have a gun, like, you're going to spray behind you, and then you're going to spray in front of you, you're going to spray to the side, and you kind of take away those encounters, like that whole aspect of like just that really aggressive nature that made the originals really fun.
Yeah, because this whole thing is like it takes away the distance. Because in order to hit anyone in Road Rash, you have to be right next to them. So you still have to be able to, race good enough to be like, close enough to sideswipe them, and then that's when you knock them off. Like this, you can be behind them at a distance. You can just, you could really just wait for everyone to drive ahead of you and just shoot them all in the back, and there you go. It's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just like that. He was just trying to make it look more exciting, but it's just like we already have games where you can shoot people with motorcycles. It's GTA. They already do it better, so let's just stick with that. But I hope the game ends up being good because I want another Road Rash, and I want it now. So, let's see, they're doing a Tomb Raider reboot. So this is an actual reboot, or is this... Because I know they were doing, Oh, okay, never mind, that's what it is. So Tomb Raider, after they had released that the sales weren't nearly as high as they thought, despite the fact that Tomb Raider was actually really good, but now they're finally profitable, so it only took them, like a year?
A little over a year, because it came out... when did... It came out in 2012, didn't it?
No, it came out last
I think it was. I want to say it was early 2013.
Oh, it was March. It was like February, March.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's right.
So
I was
took
thinking like November.
It was like
2012.
around the time of Sleeping Dogs as well.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah,
it took them about 9 months. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
They got a financial baby popping out. So I'm hoping this actually leads to a real sequel, because they're also just doing a next gen reboot of Tomb Raider, which is like really like you just mentioned. It came out in March. This game is gonna be a year old before the updated version comes out. It's like, you can't just give us a real game, like a new game. Like, you guys got your profitability, you got your money. It's a real game.
Yeah, what are they actually doing with the next gen?
They're just gonna. It's pretty much just like a facelift.
It's pretty much just going to be like a PC version where like everything. It's just like you compare PS3 Skyrim with PC Skyrim, and how much nicer it looks on PC.
Yeah,
You know, and that's basically what they're doing with Tomb Raider. Like the environments are going to look a lot more lush.
That's cool.
Lara's
going to look more lush,
and all the other characters are going to look really good. They're like the
got
realism.
physics.
There's going to be more realism. Yeah, just in-game physics. Everything is going to look polished. It's going to look more real. There's going to be more textures. You know, they're going to be able to do the whole shebang with it. And yeah, I mean, I'm not.
I'd say that's cool to have, but like in lieu of like an actual Tomb Raider sequel.
Yeah,
like,
Right.
That's my problem with it. To me, if it was like Battlefield 4, where it's like they launched pretty much simultaneously. I mean, one came out like 2 months later. If they did that, that'd be cool. But it's like Tomb Raider is already been out for months and months. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to sit there like anticipating like, oh man, I can't wait to play the same game but prettier. I want to see these new fire mechanics and all those stupid traps.
Well, I'm pretty sure they got one in the works though, and it might not be till later this year till they announce it. But I mean, the last thing I think any of us would want is a rushed sequel.
Oh yeah,
You know, so let them take their time. Let this, the new update version help recoup some of that income that they were hoping to gain in the first place, and then we'll get a good worthy sequel of the same Lara Croft that a lot of people are like being able to relate to. Like, wow, this is actually a good Lara Croft. It's not all fan service. If any fan service.
Yeah.
The new Lara Croft is like that's like little to no fan service at all. I mean,
I can't even think of any fan service there's actually really been.
yeah.
Other than what we've created through our Let's Plays.
yeah.
Well, yeah, there's nothing they can do to stop us. But
as far as like the character model and stuff like that, she's very covered up.
Yeah,
the
she
boobs
looks
aren't,
like
she has a tank top, but like the boobs aren't bouncing like Dead or Alive style everywhere.
Or was it Rise Rome?
Weird ass.
Juggles.
Yeah.
Like, who's got Jello in their bust?
But yeah, I would be excited if they made like a DLC and they made like a Jennifer Lawrence skin and you could play as Katniss Everdeen.
Jesus,
That would be awesome. That would make me happy.
I'll shoot myself.
I declare, I volunteer these wolves as tribute, and shoot them right through the eye.
I volunteer her as tribute and just get eaten by wolves.
Are you hating on Jennifer Lawrence? She's America. He's America's new sweetheart.
No, I like Jennifer Lawrence. I'm not gonna play as the Hunger Games bitch.
What about if you could be PETA?
If I could be Lenny Kravitz and just go into a fire and burn myself, yeah, I would do that.
I want to be Stanley Tucci.
Okay. Why? Why Stanley Tucci?
Because I love Stanley Tucci.
Oh, I thought you meant like to burn in a fire. Like I would.
No.
I would play.
They'll be
Stanley
announcing
Tucci.
the people burning in the fire.
That's a good idea.
I want to be Prim.
Primrose?
Sit out the game.
Dude, just sit there. Katniss, save me!
I'm gonna sit here and wait for the rebellion.
Yeah, right.
Volunteers tribute, please.
Yeah, it's like you pick Prim, but you just get the Katniss's volunteers for you, and the game's over. Just roll credits.
Yeah, you successfully won.
You just take over PETA's position at the bread shop.
She's gonna learn how to throw stuff because I carry around bags of flour, so I'm superhuman strength.
Oh my god, it's like pretty much like all she does. It's like it just turns into The Sims. You just have to do just menial tasks around the house.
Jeez, that'll suck.
But in next generation graphics.
So in other news,
Yeah.
HBO Go is coming to the PS3 and PS4.
Oh,
Do you need HBO?
Raise the hands who's got
Yeah.
HBO. No?
you can't see
Nobody?
any hands.
No.
There's 3 of us, and none of us are raising.
Yeah,
You
unfortunately.
still need HBO, but I remember somebody on Facebook, one of our buddies, said, well, the guy, the HBO owner came out and said, we don't care if you share your passwords. Like, well, that may be true, and that's cool that he says that, but it doesn't matter what he cares for, because people will do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, well, you have my blessing. Like, no one gives a shit. This is Game of Thrones is like the most highly pirated TV show of all time, which happens to be on HBO. Of course, people are sharing their passwords.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a ridiculous sentiment.
I think his reasoning though kind of made sense because he was.
Yeah,
I'm
there we go.
supporting.
That's right. Season 1 and 2.
So, yeah, Bobby's doing it right.
Season 1, well, I didn't support Season 3 because it didn't come out fast enough. But, I got the DVDs.
Well, just on that note,
That one dude that got stabbed, that's his crown.
mother. But his whole thing was like he doesn't really care because it's still promoting the brand, and I think it's actually refreshing because a lot of like CEOs don't seem to understand that, where it's like, it's still free marketing. It's like, yeah, you're not getting revenue, but these are from people that aren't going to buy it anyway. So you're still promoting it, and eventually, if they have money, they'll be like, oh yeah, let me go ahead and get it. Or like, Beetle, get the DVDs, get the Blu-rays, like, or get T-shirts. Like, there's still streams of revenue you're going to get, even if it's not from what you're directly marketing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. But yeah, so kudos to him. And he had mentioned, like, they had asked him if they're planning on actually doing the Netflix model. And he's like, well, it all depends on arithmetic. It depends if this number is as big as this number, and then we'll decide what we're going to do. That's pretty much what he said. He literally said it depends on the arithmetic. So if the math shows up, they'll be like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. But right now, I guess they're doing well enough that they don't really care. They're still having Coke and hooker parties, so the party isn't stopping. Quaaludes for everybody. so
like literally
he's
a point where
content.
like, the community like wants to give them money.
Yeah.
They're just like,
exactly.
It's not like they're like selling themselves out to make more money. It's like everybody literally wants to throw their money at them.
Yeah.
To just have a subscription for HBO, which would be worth it.
I feel like it's going to happen eventually. I think if Netflix keeps killing it with their original programming, I think HBO is going to want to. Because, like, Netflix, the CEO of Netflix, like, his whole thing is, like, their strategy is, like, we want to be more like HBO before they can be more like us. So, if, like, Season 2 of, like, House of Cards, like, kicks off and,
House
like...
of Cards are really good.
Yeah, and then if the Marvel stuff... I think if the Marvel stuff really hits, I think then HBO might start feeling the pressure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to think, like, when you get your cable subscription, you're paying, like, $10 to $15 just to have HBO.
Yeah.
To see all the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, if HBO could secure not only... a monthly subscription, internet-based, but then also secure a deal with publishing companies and the big cinema giants, so that when they get the new movies to air on TV, then they can also add them to the streaming service.
Yeah.
Then that $10, $15 a month is going to look a lot more attractive.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, for people that want to get HBO Go, not only for their original programming, but like, hey, Avengers 2 is coming out, or you know, whatever may come out in the future, and it's going to be on HBO, and yeah, I still get Netflix, but Netflix won't have that, if at all, for a whole year, you know, so.
Knowing Netflix for more than a year.
Yeah, well, Avengers 2
movies.
Avengers 2 might be on
'cause they have the
Netflix
Disney deal.
since it's the Disney deal.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, just any movie in particular, the next Wes Anderson film or something like that, it's going to be on
High
HBO.
Waters Forever.
Because as soon as they're available on DVD, they come out on HBO, they come out on Cinemax.
Yeah.
So you get the HBO Go for $10, $15 a month, and then you get the nice streaming service with it. I don't know. I think I would say I'd be on board. I wouldn't get HBO $10 added to my cable subscription, but if I were to get movies and original programming for internet streaming, I wouldn't mind paying $10. Especially if that couples with the cable subscription.
Yeah, I don't know if HBO Go right now, if it's just like current programming, if you could go back and watch like The Wire and Sopranos. I don't know how far it goes since I never actually used it. Because I think if it did,
in that case, I might have to second guess it. But I mean, if they did add all the old school shows,
Flight the Conchords and stuff.
Yeah, like, that would be worth it. I just don't
that
know
they've ever been able to air that they still currently own.
Yeah, like all their programming.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, they have like a shit ton of comedy specials. Yeah, they have like all the good stuff on HBO.
I didn't even think of those. Yeah.
It sounded good already. HBO.
That's where I first saw Fly the Conchords with the HBO comedy special.
Oh, okay.
Where they were just like, like that. He had like the glow in the dark, like a wolf howling at the moon shirt or something like that.
Nice.
I think it was a sweater. Wasn't it?
No, it was a t-shirt.
It was a t-shirt.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the first time I saw Fly the Conchords, and their show came out it was like a year and a half later.
Okay.
I was just like on board ever since. So yeah, I would definitely want to watch HBO for if they go if they archive it, then
that would be cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, HBO Go will be hotter than a high-res Lara Croft.
That's impossible.
No, Neo. It's inevitable.
It's her picture of that cop from the beginning. That's impossible.
So basically, Twitch is ginormous. It's devouring the entire internet like a.
Not very stable.
Apparently, it didn't have to be. It's bigger. It's bigger than Hulu, and Hulu's bigger than the Beatles, and the Beatles are bigger than Jesus. So that means that Twitch is taking over the world.
There you go.
Whenever there's a League of Legends tournament, every other streamer's just like, "Sorry, we can't do anything." Twitch is just doing League of Legends right now.
Wow.
That's probably.
All their
I don't know if
space is going to
because it's definitely on Twitch at that point, but. League of Legends is like thousands upon thousands of people watching. Whereas
League of Legends filled a soccer stadium.
Yeah, what you watch a fighting
That's
game.
50,000 people.
You watch a fighting game tournament and you have like 5,000 people on there.
Yeah.
And then you watch like League of Legends, you have like 100. It's just like you understand why they're going like, well, everything's being dedicated to that one. So I just giving them. But I'm on Twitch all the time. We're on Twitch right now watching Apex, third day of Apex Melee tournament. Mango's fighting, but yeah.
Oh, nice. Mango. Well, yeah, one day Punching the Walls Reality will also be on Twitch. One day. But yeah, I think the whole thing with like League of Legends, like that actually to me is like almost like a testament to their success. Because it's like it's almost like they're a victim of their own success. Where it's like when League is playing, it's like no one else can do anything. It's like obviously they need to add more servers, but it just shows like that's how many people they draw.
It kind of makes like everybody schedule their tournaments like on a different day.
Yeah. Just don't even bother logging in unless you want to watch this. But yeah, they said Twitch is bigger than Hulu. They've reached about 30 million unique viewers per month. It's a lot.
Wow.
We reach about 700. So they're beating us just by a little bit.
By the end of 20, at the end of it said by the end of 2013, over 45 million monthly unique viewers were watching an average of 106 minutes per day, or as they put it in other terms, 12 billion minutes per month of Twitch content.
That's a lot of minutes.
I do that. I watch Twitch literally every day.
Billions of minutes from
that
you.
would be an increase of 25 million monthly viewers since 2012. But more impressively, it makes Twitch even bigger than the likes of Hulu. That's crazy. That's just...
What's even crazier than that is like they said to put the company's success in perspective, Twitch is enjoying more primetime eyeballs than MTV, Sci-Fi, AMC, and TNT. So crucially, over 75% of his audience is between 18 and 49. I almost said 94. It's like, yes, I need my MTV. Like I think
they're just like a year or two short of like having their own like channel.
Yeah.
And Twitch and Riot Games by proxy, because Riot Games, without Riot Games, I think Twitch wouldn't really be much of anything.
Oh yeah.
Because everyone's watching leagues. That's like the biggest thing they're watching.
Point.
And Riot Games owns their own game. They're distributing their own content. But they're using Twitch as a platform for the millions of viewers that tune in every freaking month, year, whatever. But a lot of that is owned to League of Legends and Riot Games for Twitch's success. So with that game alone, then you got to add like all the Call of Duty tournaments, the FGC tournaments.
AGDQ is huge. AGDQ and SDGQ. So
well, not AGDQ, but all the charity events as well.
Yeah, charity
and they just did
events,
a really great one where they raised over $1 million.
Yeah, that's AGDQ. They have that once a year, and then SGDQ is done like in the winter. So they're basically just opposite ends of the year, but they're just one tournament, and they do the same thing like twice a year. So it's pretty sick.
Yeah,
there's always like tons and tons of people just watching like old Super Metroid speedruns.
Nice.
I watch a Deus Ex speedrun, Deus Ex 2 speedrun, Deus Ex Human Revolution speedrun. Like I watch like every single like game you can think of. Like they had it going on for a straight week marathon, but that's just one channel.
Yeah,
and then you watch and then all these people that are on. Like that are competing in this tournament and stuff or whatever, doing speedruns. Like they all have their own individual channels that they have their own fan base. So just like branches and branches and branches and just it's just great. I love Twitch for that because you just find somebody like, oh, that guy's cool. Like, well, yeah, this is his Twitch channel. I'm gonna go there. Just watch some cool stuff. So I definitely do like Twitch. To
that point, in Dagobah's point, where it's like they could even have their own TV station. I think like they're actually better off like this because it's that much more accessible. Because like, when you said that, it was making me think like they could make like a new G4. It's like but then you got to have cable, you got to have like the premium channels. It's like this, like anyone that has internet can log on and see it.
Yeah, that's very true.
And I think that's why they're kicking so much ass and taking so many names. But I don't know. To me, the AMC one it surprised me the most because they have good programming. Like when I saw Sci-Fi and MTV, it's like MTV sucks now, and Sci-Fi also sucks now.
Yeah.
But AMC's got The Walking Dead, and they're kicking their butts too.
They just had one of the most critically acclaimed TV shows end recently, Breaking Bad.
I know, right? Wow.
Yeah, and then did the same people have Mad Men?
Yeah, they
Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Walking Dead. Yeah, it's hard to top those.
Yeah,
those are some hard-hitting shows.
Comic Book Men.
Fuck that show.
That show is so awful. But for another time.
Terrible. So apparently there's a thing called a Steam machine.
I wanted to talk about this.
And
I actually know nothing, so I'd like to hear somebody else talk about it.
I know nothing as well. I thought it was the steampunk version of of video games.
So
yeah, I thought Kevin Kline was in it.
This is from Destructoid.
Calvin Klein.
Go
Shut
ahead,
up. A total of 14 machines were tested, and after crunching the numbers, they're putting the Origin PC Chronos on top, followed by the Digital Storm Bolt 2.
Holy crap!
Holy crap! For $25,000.
That's all.
And the Web Allen
$2,500.
$1,500.
$2,000.
These stats are subject to change based on Steam
little bit
Machine
different.
tweaks, and some of the prices aren't even finalized yet. But if you're looking at checking out a new system at some point, checking back with this chart would be a good first. Or you could just build your own machine for cheaper and install SteamOS yourself.
Yeah, that would probably be the route I'd go.
I think, getting all your own parts is probably going to cost you anywhere from like $600 to $1,000.
Yeah, that's why like the $25,000 seems so insane because like you can-
$2,500.
Yeah, that keeps
It just kind of scares me.
the
If
$25 billion
Yeah,
price
$25
tag
billion.
of the
If
Bolted.
the Chronos system is like the best machine,
Mhm.
and the second best one is Digital Storm's Bolt 2, and that one's going for $2,584. I'm scared of what the Chronos costs.
Yeah,
you know.
maybe they're just gonna throw you a curveball and be like 1,000 flat.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
The best one is also one of the cheapest.
It's all
So
the
are
best
they,
price.
are they calling their Steam boxes like just different code names for like different?
Oh well,
different setups.
Origin PC is making the Chronos. I don't know if that's a EA funded one.
I don't know. Well, Origin is like a subsidiary of EA, so they do their own thing.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But yeah, that'd be weird if they're working on that. I mean, oh man, Origin is so terrible right now.
So
Can imagine
technically,
them making a box.
yeah. What's in the box? I was gonna say. So it's technically the Steam box really just PC that runs the
It's like
Steam
a
OS.
Yeah, basically. Well, they just want a PC with like a console price.
Yeah.
like you can't PC game because everybody thinks that has PC game you have to spend like $1,200, which
Yeah.
is true.
Which is ironic since all the prices are like
Exactly. So, but when the Steam box had when the Steam thing came out, I think it was originally that the Alienware X51, and that one was like you can get that in $600, $800, or like $1,000.
Gotcha.
And like they're all gaming computers, but just on different levels, so that you can find your price.
Yeah.
you can still find it too. But people don't like Alienware because they have like whatever. Anyways,
because they're owned by Dell now.
yeah, and then they have like their own stuff that you have to like upgrade like specifically for Alienware
I
instead
see.
of just like getting like regular drivers. I don't know.
And they croak you.
But yeah, but apparently with this, like, it's just you might as well just get your own rig.
Yeah. So that's interesting too. Yeah, because I was going to bring up Alienware because I was wondering, it's like, is it really that much different? But I guess it isn't. It's just a different.
Okay, Origin
developer.
PC Chronos. Nobody in their right minds needs 2 GeForce Titans.
I need 10.
So
It's only that rock.
nobody even needs a 780 Ti right now. It's too high. I'll go 760. GTX 760. That's what I want.
So basically, I need to come to you when I build my PC.
Yeah,
yeah, but that
a Titan
well, let me just go. That alternate model, the 3D Mark's 5400. It's like the fourth best one that they're putting out right now. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, a terabyte solid state hard drive, and the price is $1,339. That's still a lot of monies, even for those recommendations.
Yeah. That's definitely a lot of money. That's a good rig. That's a kind of like a rig I would be shooting to make like that. Like like with a good amount of like 16 gigs, with the terabyte, and then with the like a GTX. Well, 760 is like top of the line right now. Not as top as a 780 or Titan, but a Titan is definitely a necessary. And 2 Titans. Come on, my God. It's like having like 2 diesels pull like a shopping cart. That's what a Titan is. Like there's no game that literally you'll be above requirements for every game for like the next 2 or 3 years. If you have a Titan. But
well, what if you have 2 Titans? How far ahead are you?
Then you can run what is the
What if you have the
Crisis?
class?
no
of
what's
Titans?
what's the resolution? It's it's like 2 times 1080p. You just run it
the 4000.
Yeah, you just run it insane FPS and stuff. But nobody makes games for that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
run them
yeah.
and you can try to figure
Can
out.
you
how to
imagine
get
like
that.
120 frames per
I'm
second.
gonna play Tetris.
Yeah,
on
there's
that
definitely
This is
there's videos of these guys. They build like the ultimate rig. It's just like the most powerful computer. It's freaking. It's really awesome. They do like slow motion, like huge, like higher in HD, whatever it is.
yeah.
But it's cool. But nobody needs that. I mean, especially if you want to make an economical gaming rig. Like no.
Yeah, and that's the big thing right there.
It seems like they
you
missed the
said,
mark.
economic gaming rig.
Yeah.
like none of those are economically viable
No,
for anyone.
None of these at all.
Making less than like $30,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whole thing,
unless they just have this insane amount of disposable income with it,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see people just saving their money just for that. Like, you have to be like hardcore into it. But most people that are going to spend that much money are probably going to build their own anyway. Because I mean, if you're going to spend $2,000 on a gaming computer, chances are you probably know what goes inside.
Pretty much, yeah, you probably got a $4,000 TV, both Xbox One and PS4.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's people where it's like they just constantly upgrade their computer. Like, that's where all their money goes to.
Yeah.
So it's like someone that have a computer like this, I'd imagine they're just like the person that's already going to build their own. But it's like when I first saw those first couple of price tags, it's like, the PS4 looks that much more available, or not affordable, but like
Attractive.
Attractive, yeah. It looks that much more attractive. Like this, like if I was ever like, man, PlayStation 4 still seems kind of pricey. And look at this, I'm gonna get
But that
PlayStation
Steambox
4.
Chronos is probably going to be like $3,000.
Yeah, it's like thanks for driving me even more solidly into the console market.
One of the heads of NVIDIA,
Uh,
he's like a pretty buff like Asian dude. And there's a
Bolo?
joke. He's literally just like a buff Asian dude. And like there's like someone tweeted at GeForce because they at NVIDIA because they released like some new card where it has like a bunch of like mini engines inside, so it's like a something like 100 core processor like game card. So it's really cool, but it's not really going to work out very well.
Yeah.
But it showed like a picture of him on the Twitter, like, yeah, he's doing this conference right now as a picture. He's like buff, and someone was like, damn, that dude's buff as hell. And he's like, yeah, he bench presses 2 Titans every morning.
Nice.
2 GCX Titans every morning.
It's like that's probably like his like pitch when he's doing like the conference. It's like I wanted to make sure that I had graphics that could actually render my muscles, and nothing on the market could except for 2 Titans.
Crisis 3 still crashed.
Can't
play Crisis 3.
Now grease me up. So
if I'm reading this right, a freaking GTX Titan, is that the right price? $1,000?
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Jesus Christ! So
Yeah,
it's
that's
got
what I'm
2 of
saying.
them.
It's not a
That's
market.
$2,000 alone.
It's literally not something. It's like
Not to mention like all the other parts that are going to go into it, into
like-
that's going to run well over $3,000.
Yeah.
it's like selling meth over the counter.
Yeah.
It's like you don't ever need it.
hey, I need that 90% purity. I don't want that blue. I don't want aquamarine.
You want
I
that
blue.
FDA additive approved blue crystal.
Yeah. I don't want no chili pea. I hate chili powder.
What's Nintendo doing about their terrible structure?
Well, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with Nintendo. I've kind of been keeping up mostly because of the drama, but
Thought about buying a Wii U just for all the Zelda games and the Wind Waker remake.
and the Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, I'll play that.
Yeah, I'll play that.
I would play that.
I put a rose down
So
in my
anyways-
front yard in honor of Nintendo.
For like the past 3 or 4 years, I don't know if you guys know who Satoru Iwata is.
That guy?
The guy
Yeah.
with the big head.
Yeah, he's
He-
one of the CEOs.
He's the Nintendo president.
President.
No,
Oh, yeah.
He's the president of Nintendo right
I get him
now.
mixed up with Miyamoto.
But people have been asking for his resignation for about the last 3 or 4 years because Nintendo has been making all the wrong rules. And who's usually the first people to blame? Either CEO or the president.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much been him. Like, he's part of the old guard of Nintendo.
Ah.
So, Nintendo's now facing its 3rd year of continuous losses. And Iwata admits he misread the markets and said the company needed to change. Now, there's been people out there, especially in the gaming industry, like Michael Pachter. And he even said, like, the Wii U needs to be able to do, X and Y to, accomplish Z. And they've all been viable things, like talking about, like, there needs to be upgrade to the Wii U.
Yeah.
It's one thing to have in 1080p, and you got the HD stuff down, but you're still limiting what the hardware can actually do, and you're selling it for well under what it's worth. No one's going to buy it, and then you're releasing it 6 months before the new consoles come out.
Yeah.
It's like, that is a stupid mistake. That you should have just waited, kept perfecting the engine. And then people would want to play. And then just the whole control scheme is just really shoddy. Like, no one wants to play with a tablet. Like,
The thing is
I remember
way too big.
when
Fuzzy slippers.
yeah, Fuzzy Slippers came over, and he was having fun with it. But I was like, I honestly couldn't see myself doing that. It's like, why is everyone else going to be looking at the TV playing on their Wii controller, like the Wii controllers, the Wii Wiimotes? And then I'm going to be staring at the fucking tablet, completely disenfranchised from what everyone else is doing, and just like, I'm just doing this.
Yeah, the
with
fact
my
that you can only
finger.
use one tablet.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
that
another
makes
thing.
no
like,
sense at all.
Yeah, because the hardware couldn't handle it. And they were like, oh yeah, well our specs are better than the PS3 and 360. He's like, that would have been fine 4 years prior.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's
know?
You would have blew him out of the water.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, you would have been better on paper than all around.
But you're talking about like having 1 gigabyte of RAM compared to, or I think it was one or two, whatever. It doesn't. Let's say if the Wii U did have 2 gigabytes of RAM, and we've gone over this argument before.
Yeah.
Compared to the PS3 and 360's 500 megabytes of RAM.
They should have just put a Titan in it.
Yeah, just put a Titan in that bitch.
Just solder that
It's
right
like-
to the top of that bitch.
The PS4 and the 360 are each going to have like 8 to 16 gigabytes of RAM. And you're bragging about having 1 or 2? And not only that, but the
Finally have a
consoles,
gigabyte.
they still limit their console viability by making a 4 gigabyte hard drive system and a 16 gigabyte hard drive system, but saying, oh, hey, you can go out and buy what do you call it? An external hard drive, which is going to cost you another $100. You know, $50 for a 500 gigabyte.
Yeah,
Which may, well, depending on all the crappy games, it's probably like more than what you need. But still, and then like the 4 gigabyte one isn't even a viable option for anybody that doesn't have external hard drive space or SD cards.
Learned that from Xbox.
Because they didn't learn from the predecessor's mistakes. The hardware update is like or the system update when you first get it is like 1.2 gigabytes. And then the game that you get, like Mario Party or whatever, takes like 3 or 4 gigabytes.
Yeah.
So you already don't have enough space. You have no space for any games to play to save on there.
Your save file just crashes your entire system.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's like they're really working against themselves. Like, I understand, like, the whole thing, like, okay, you can use an external hard drive. That's cool, but that should be an option. That shouldn't be a necessity. You know?
That should be an option on top of already having a 500 gigabyte hard drive.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Nintendo failed when they didn't go HD with everybody else.
Oh yeah, the first place with the Wii. Yeah.
They failed with that. Like at least when the whole like the the HD DVDs versus Blu-ray war. At least Xbox took a chance.
Yeah.
At least they both took a chance. One of them won. Xbox is okay. Next time we'll do Blu-ray.
Yeah.
The Nintendo didn't take any chances whatsoever. They kept with the GameCube. They just called it something different, made it a little bit flatter.
They played it safe and were content that families and disabled veterans enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, it was just kind of like, it was like, but...
Can name off so many disabled veterans that play Battlefield 4 and
Exactly,
PC right now.
exactly.
They're tearing it. They don't even know. They're just
Solid
like, their
Snake.
friends have this rig. They write everything down, take it to a computer shop. I want this. I'm retired. Pay for it. That's what they do. That's what old retired vets do.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's just like Nintendo, though, like historically, seems like they're always a step behind with technology. But like now, it's like they're like a huge leap.
Yeah,
because all the other ones were at least like positioned at a time. You know, like the 64 came out, technically better graphics than like the original PlayStation, and the and then then the PS2 comes out, then they come with the GameCube. So they've been competitive with graphics. But this one just came out like it made no sense why they released the Wii U at all. Like I said, like they should have waited and just made it a next gen system. It has like no home. It's just, I mean, the whole thing is like when it first came out, it's like, oh, Platinum Games is going to develop exclusives for it, and people are like, they're getting on the Wii U bandwagon, and it's almost like slowly and quietly every developer is like, we're not going to do that. We're just going to go with the Xbox One and the PS4.
Well, see, the thing in America, like when video games first came out, it was like this cool hip thing, and then I remember reading this really interesting article the other day about why games are so like polarizing among like people that know nothing about games demonize it. And it gets demonized anytime there's a school shooting. People blame video games and guns. Those are the first two things they go to. And guns more rightfully so because we need gun control law. But with video games,
they just need to make more guns.
It's more or less, to me, I don't think it's a viable opinion to blame games because games are in the hands of the parents when it comes to children. But the other thing was like I guess during the Reagan administration that was like one of the things they demonized was video games, and all of a sudden nobody that thought that games were cool were playing games anymore. But then when Nintendo comes out, they're like, oh, let's make it as this harmless thing towards kids.
Yeah.
Well, we were those kids. And we all grew up with the games, so the games are now a part of us, and now we're the new cool hip adults that are playing games, and we want more adult themes. We want mature games.
Yeah.
We want games that play like movies. We want games that like pull at our heartstrings or make us laugh and smile and do everything that movies and TV do.
Yeah.
That's just what games want. And Nintendo is still stuck in like 1988, still trying to cater to children.
Yeah.
They're still in that whole thing, and it could be just the fact that Nintendo's based in Japan, and they went with that original model to where you have all these other companies that were around the time where video games were getting demonized, but now see that like those kids that Nintendo tried to resell to, and then when Sega and all these other companies and publishers came in, were like, all right, these kids are growing up, they're teenagers, they're adolescents, they're young adults, now they have children of their own, we need to make games for these people at every generation skip, and then also games for their generation. But Nintendo was just like, let's make games for the 8-year-old that's still inside of them. And although that's still a novelty approach, like I would still like enjoy playing whatever Zelda, but I'm not going to go out of my way to play Skyward Sword anymore. If I ever chanced upon it, or when 10 years from now, when I was like, hey, I'm going to go get a Wii U is $100. I'm gonna go buy it. I'm gonna buy Skyward Sword and Smash Bros. And like, oh, these games are fun. This reminds me of childhood. This reminds me when I was 22.
That's the thing with Legend of Zelda games. The Zelda games did progressively grow until Twilight
Princess.
It flatlined after Twilight Princess. That's when it got. That's when it grew the most.
Yeah.
Was after Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess is just like, was it?
Yeah.
Like, that was the adult.
Yeah, because
that was the actual link where they actually say the word "kill" in Legend of Zelda. You need to kill Ganondorf. You need to get rid of him.
And that was the other thing, is that when you go back to Ocarina of Time, that game was very mature, and young kids were playing it and loved it. And it evoked really sad emotions, and like you're seeing all these people in turmoil, and no one really dies, but I mean, it's a very sad game, and it gets thrown. You're in a world of darkness, and you have like this really intense music, and like you feel the circumstances, and then you fight Ganon, and then and Ganondorf, and like you save the day, and then you go on this other trek, and then you go into the very dark, the sequel to that,
Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, that one's really dark and kind of.
That
weird.
one's very dark, creepy. Yeah, it's got that really creepy pasta feel to it.
Yeah, it does.
With the whole thing with the masks.
Yeah,
Some of those masks are just really weird.
Yeah, there's a lot of creepy stuff, a little dark. It would give a kid some nightmares there.
Yeah.
But it still had its own like.
It's like a warped
funhouse
funhouse version of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was a really great game, and they I kind of felt like they continued that. And then you had Wind Waker.
Wind Waker's awesome.
Wind Waker's awesome, but it was kind of like a trek back. But it was something new, and I still really enjoyed it, but it didn't have the same kind of like themes that grew with me with Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
But then when Twilight Princess came out, it was kind of like the mix of fun and adventure with the tragedy of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, where it's almost like a stolen childhood.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of happy parts in Twilight Princess. It was like from the beginning, like you're on your ranch and stuff, and like very soon after that, like everyone just gets thrown to shit.
Yeah,
like you get turned into a wolf, like this dark freaking the little midnight thing.
Yeah,
like riding on top of you and shit. And it's like everything. The whole atmosphere is just very dark, very wooded, very dead. Yeah, you bring something back to life, but the whole world around it is still very dead and dark and just like no hope.
Right.
But you're literally just like you do the mortal draw. That's what it's called. It's a one-hit kill. You do the melee, the stab down. So you jump on top of them and just stab them like through the body and they disappear. So there's like stabbing and like instead of just like slice. There's like stabbing, dead, one-hit kill.
Yeah. And then Skyward Sword was like a complete trek back. Yeah. And it made everything really campy and colorful and bright and vibrant. And, that's great. There's great games that do that, like Final Fantasy, but they still keep their adult themes to them. And so they could have still done that while still having, like, more mature themes and not so, like, kiddie. Because you got to remember, when we were playing Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, we were, like, 13, 15 years old and still really enjoying these games. And now they're dumbing these games for, like, 30-year-olds that are playing these games, but with the mindset of like an 8-year-old that would play them. Like, we got to think of the 10-year-old that are going to play this. So like, the 10-year-old's going to love it regardless. Make it for the people that are 15 and up that want to remember these games and still have them in their top 10 all-time favorites list.
I think the thing with Nintendo that's really frustrating is like they've obviously showed that they can make more mature games. and they show that they can be well received. And it's not like they're going like all out like GTA style.
Yeah,
like they're more mature, but they're still like kid friendly. Like a kid can still play like Twilight Princess and not be like, oh, I want to go stab somebody. Well, not that they would anyway if it was like GTA. But and the thing is like. Towards the end of the life of the Nintendo 64, even then they were talking about the next generation is gonna be more mature. Like some of their swan songs are Perfect Dark and Conker's Bad Fur Day. Like this is what you can expect from a Nintendo. And then it just seems like the old guard was like, no, we're not doing that. We can't do that. And it just seems like every time it seems like a lot of people in Nintendo really do want to go in that direction. And it just seems like they just get stifled. Like every now and then one will slip through, and then
because they can do really good. So I can go back to Twilight Princess one more time. It's just like. They can go dark. They can do not so much dark, but like mature.
Yeah,
he goes so much mature, like with the storyline that you can follow and just like content that you can watch without being like scared of and stuff like that. Like with Ganon, when you kill Ganon at the end, obviously it's not gory or bloody or anything like that. But he dies standing up with a sword in his chest,
and then
he
freezes.
Just, he just freezes like in the twilight, and there's just this cape blowing in the wind. It's actually pretty kind of sad.
Yeah,
and you just like still like watching. It's like, well, everything's over. He's in the twilight. He just like that with the sword.
Not
in his
that,
chest.
but when he comes back, he like kills the great sages. Like they're dead.
When he comes back,
they're dead.
The sages are the ones that hold Ganon. They lock him. Anyways, he escapes every like so much thousand years. So when he comes back, the first sage that happens to be standing in front of him, he grabs that sage's head and just disintegrates it.
Yeah,
it's not gory or anything. But he literally just killed a sage. He killed
he turns into like small little black pixels.
Yeah, he just like grabbed it just like a full palm like grab on the head and just like crush, and just the whole thing was just gone. He's just like
nice.
Like,
it was like
that was the first shot of Ganon in Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Like, he just shows him waking up, killing a sage.
Yeah, and that's like midway through the game.
Yeah, and the sword he uses in Twilight Princess is a sage sword. He just stole it from him. He just says, this is mine now.
You left it in my chest, Finders Keepers.
It's very mature. It doesn't have to be gory or anything like that to be mature.
It was very artistic. It was very nice. It was a beautiful game.
Then they go back, it's like, well, Wind Waker is... I love Wind Waker.
Yeah,
it's great.
I do too,
It's very unique. It's cel-shaded and stuff, but like, after Twilight Princess... Because they made all the Wind Waker, like the cel-shaded stuff, they made that into the to the handheld link.
Yeah.
So all the handheld Legend of Zelda games took on the Wind Waker.
Yeah, it's all Toon Link.
Which I liked.
Yeah.
So like they just separated it. But then when it went to Skyward Sword, they're like, let's make it a cel-shaded adult Link.
Yeah.
And just like, come on. And then there's all like happy-go-lucky, and like, diving off of a cloud onto an eagle. Like, yeah. It's just like, I don't even care. Just like everybody, all the enemies got like big heads. It's like nothing that you would ever seriously, like nothing like even close to like humanoid.
Yeah,
Whereas the Twilight Princess, it was like a bunch of dark creatures like walking like on the knuckles, just like all like creepily like walking towards you. Just like, nope, they don't want that anymore. As unique as it is, they're just like, it's too scary.
So just to finish this up, Iwata's talking about he's got a new business structure, which he'll detail at the end of the month, more than likely. But he goes on to say, in Japan I can own my own antenna, but abroad that doesn't work. Which I don't really know how to translate that, other than like maybe the isolationism that Japan kind of has among their gamers, to where like the greater audience will buy games and don't necessarily need to have the need to play them online like Europe, Australia, and the US do, where it's like, oh, I gotta have online with this game, like Call of Duties and stuff like that. Like those games aren't as prevalent in Japan as they are, in other countries. So the games that do really well in Japan don't necessarily mean that they're gonna do well in the US or the EU. So I don't know. But this is from Shaq News. So the last paragraph states, regardless of the company's recent misfortunes, Nintendo is far from dead. While the company is projecting a loss of $240 million for the current fiscal year, it still has more than $4 billion in cash reserves to sustain itself. And still Iwata needs to resign.
Still Golden Age money, man.
It is Golden Age money.
They got that old money.
Yeah.
They still got all those Mario coins.
Miyamoto's like, yeah, I did all that. I made Samus and Zelda and Mario and everybody.
So just kind of expound on that. Just before that, a couple days before that, this came out, where Nintendo expects to sell 6 million fewer Wii U systems than originally forecast. This is also from Shaq News. And that's just kind of even more disheartening. It's just like, why do they still have this Iwata guy when they're making like for the third year in a row? And this system is pretty new. We're estimating that we're going to sell 9 million units.
Yeah. Which
compared to the Wii sold like 100 and something million units. we're going to sell 9 million units. We're going to knock that down by 6 million and hope that by the end of the year we're going to sell 2.8 million units.
I bet you anything by the end of the year they're going to change their projection. Like, yeah, we're hoping to send 1 million units, you know.
That's the thing. I don't think
at least go platinum.
I don't think Iwata has taken any of that to heart because remember EA, EA's previous CEO, John Riccitiello, he resigned himself because he lost the company money because of SimCity. SimCity was released too early.
Oh, yeah.
He okayed a lot of stuff that he shouldn't have.
And not only was it released too early, it was released with a lot of...
Well, yeah, that's what he was admitting. Yeah, it's just like too many bugs, and there's other games like that shouldn't have been made. They just made like for money. Online passes was his idea and stuff like that.
Well, there was also the failure and foresight of SimCity with the server launch.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like they weren't anticipating as many games, and it was just bad foresight, really.
Exactly.
You can't really blame EA for that, or anyone really, because no one really anticipated the game to be that like successful.
Yeah,
you know.
But the only thing is that with all the situations, that's exactly right. But with John Riccitiello, like all this stuff happened, and like while he was CEO, he's just like, I made a bunch of bad calls,
and it happened in like a matter of days.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like I'm sorry, I made a bunch of bad calls, and I'm gonna step down. Like he literally messed up and said, I can't do this.
Yeah,
like I'm doing it wrong, and I don't know any other way to do it. You know,
yeah.
Just like I'm making bad calls.
But the company was just too big for him.
Yeah,
he was there for a long time.
Yeah, he's definitely a gamer. He loves games. He said the Saboteur is his favorite game. He plays all the time. So like. He knows about games. He loves games, but he knew he was doing it wrong, so he stepped down. He's just like, I'm going to go somewhere else that I can do successful in, and it seems like Iwata's just not taking that same kind of perspective. He's not saying like, well, I fucked up, or well, I guess now he's like.
Well, I think
now
like
he's
pretty much. I think now
with
his recent statements that we read off a little while ago.
Maybe he's feeling the pressure.
I think now he's feeling the pressure.
It.
He's probably hearing a lot of. Hopefully disheartening statements from like investors and stuff and some of the old guard there, and maybe a lot of them there, and hopefully him as well, are starting to realize like, hey, you know, we'll be dead in a few years if we don't like do something soon and change up our game plan and come out, you know, with $4 billion in the bank reserves. Why not just like, I don't know, well, let me rephrase this. With $4 billion dollars in their bank reserves, why not just take your time for another year and release something better than the Wii U?
I bet one guy at Capcom said that once. He was like, nah.
Like the Wii U was literally... The Wii U,
beat him.
The Wii U should have been released the same way the PS3 Slims were released. Or like the black Xbox 360s that didn't have the red ring of death disadvantage to it. You know, like 4 years after the initial... Wii's release, you know, that's when the Wii U should have come out, and like the latter half of its life, of the Wii's life. So then you had the Wii, and then you had the Wii U was like exponentially better, you know, kind of like the 3DS, and then the 3DS Lite, the way they come out like every 2 or 3 years. But the way they did it was like 6 months before the next generation hit, and like, oh, this is also part of the next generation. It's like, no, you're like that. You're like in that vortex between the previous generation and the next generation. Like the Virtual Boy or something like that. Just
the Virtual Boy was just garbage.
Well, just like this console that just literally lacked the foresight and came out at a time where it was better than its predecessors, but at a time where it didn't matter. Because everyone's anticipating the next generation. It's like, okay, well, if you were planning to release it then, why not just go ahead with a next-gen console that doing everything that everybody wants it to have, instead of coming out with the Wii U when you have $4 billion flipping dollars in the bank. You know,
I just think it's going to take the Nintendo president. He's going to have to get like a severed Yoshi head in his bed.
Yeah,
and he's just going to be like, That's going to be his wake-up call.
CEO Iwata resigned today.
I think it's also ironic that the American guy fell on his sword, but the Japanese guy is still trucking.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
we could tell him probably just like, I just want to play some video games.
Like, I'm just going to eat Cheetos and play video games.
I'll play some video games without people yelling at me. Kill me.
Except for online.
So rounding out our last couple of topics, Blizzard is considering selling Insta-90 upgrades. Now, for those that don't understand what an Insta-90 is, or what 90 even refers to, is your highest level cap in World of Warcraft
with
is
Mr. Pandaria.
With Mr. Pandaria expansion is level 90. So what Blizzard's considering is putting for sale the ability for someone who's just starting out to essentially pay for a level 90 character and just have all the stats given to them, so they don't have the requirement of leveling through and spending hours upon hours of gameplay to reach level 90, even level 60. Well, I mean, hitting level 40 nowadays takes about a week. It used to take months if you had a job.
Yeah.
You know, and now it takes like less than a week. And I remember when, I think it was Cataclysm when it came out, there was a guy that went from 1 to 90 in like 2 days. But that's all he did. And he did like speed runs, and he had obviously he had friends helping him do some of the dungeons and stuff, but like the fact that it's possible, albeit incredibly unimpossibly possible. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it feels like Blizzard just wants to kill WoW. Like, they're just like, you know what? We're tired of being the most popular MMO. We're just going to alienate all the hardcore fans.
Yeah, well, it's going to be terrible, and apparently they're releasing the new world. Well, I guess this Insta-90 upgrade is to be sold with their new, or they're going to put it with their new Warlords of Draenor expansion that's coming out. I'm sure it's just going to beat it into the ground. Yeah, WoW hasn't been good since, like... Some people might disagree, but I don't think it's been good since Wrath of the Lich King. Some people will say it hasn't been good since Burning Crusade. So I think in vanilla, Burning Crusade, and Wrath of the Lich King, definitely its best.
I did, when we got back into it, I really did enjoy Wrath of the Lich King for the little time that we played it.
Yeah, it was good. There's some people who say, like, well, no, I'm hardcore, you know, but like...
But I like the updates to the armor graphics stuff, and the only thing that really pissed me off is that none of the previous stuff was updated. So, like, all your Wrath of the Lich King stuff looked incredible on your crappy, like, undead warrior that I had. It was just like, he looks crappy, but, like, I can see the bolts on my shoulder pad armor. You know?
That's funny.
But the new expansion is supposed to fix all that. But at the same time, it's like, why does it even matter anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like, you know, obviously what they're doing is they're trying to attract, you know, new players and all that. And I feel like in the short term it's going to work, and they're going to be excited, and in the long term it's going to kill it.
I'll say what the point is of just Insta-90. Like, why are you even not going to play the game?
Yeah.
And Warlords of Draenor, I guess, is going to increase the level cap to 100, finally.
It's
they're going to hit that number.
All I know.
So there'll still be grinding, but I wouldn't call it grinding if you're only jumping up 10 levels. That's not grinding. You know?
Elder Scrolls Online, where you at? That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, that's
So that's my last hope.
Help me,
Bethesda. You're my only hope.
Definitely my hope.
All right, who wants to read this one?
What is it?
Atlus is making a baby-making RPG, and it earned rated M for mature.
Well, it's not necessarily baby-making RPG. I think it's just being made fun of because it implies that you can procreate to make babies.
Okay, this is my rebuttal to that. The name of the game is Conception 2, Children of the Stars.
But it says the M rating list.
So the fact that it's called Conception, you know, that's making babies.
It's a game for the 3DS and PlayStation Vita, so I urge Bobby Beetle to get it so we can check it out and play it.
Well, this says the M rating list for fantasy violence, language, mild blood, partial nudity, and sexual themes, which mild blood and partial nudity could be the Conception.
Yeah, but so basically, the rating summary from the ESRB, this is how they described Conception 2. There's a role-playing game in which players assume the role of a young student trying to rid the world of monsters while exploring dungeons. Players engage in turn-based battles with a variety of human and fantastical enemies, e.g. ogres, demons. Human characters occasionally use guns to shoot the player's characters. Other fighters use hammers, swords, or blasts of energy to deplete opponents'
health meters.
A handful of scenes depict a character covered in blood across the chest and upper arm. The game includes some suggestive dialogue. You have giant boobs. That's not even suggestive. That's
You've got giant boobs.
That's like...
I think your breasts are very lovely.
That's like as direct as you could possibly get.
Their shape is that I think boys would like them.
That's not even... I don't know. That's just funny. That's beyond suggestive. That's like just right into perversion.
Just was like in Persona 4 where there's a gaty named Kanji. And everybody goes to the beach, right? Everybody shows up in their swimwear.
Yeah.
And he's wearing just like small-ass Speedo.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you wearing, Kanji? He's just like, what are you talking about? It's your basic black. Like, you just have to flex. I mean, that's suggestive.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's just flat out mature dialogue.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
immature
There's nothing
dialogue,
suggestive about telling a woman she has giant boobs.
Yeah.
That's literally fact.
Yeah.
If in fact she does have giant
Yeah,
boobs.
yeah. There's no beating around the bush unless that's what you plan.
See, that was suggestive.
Yeah, exactly.
Real bush.
So during the course of the game, players are able to engage in classmating system in which two characters interact to create a star child.
I believe John Lennon did a little bit of that.
Yeah. These brief sequences, is that all? It's only brief, do not depict sexual acts, though the female characters are shown to often be partially nude and placed in suggestive poses. For example, on their hands and knees. Female characters are also depicted with jiggling breast, and camera angles often zoom in on cleavage and buttocks. The words shit and asshole appear in dialogue.
This is
As in shit, don't put it in
the
my
same
ass.
people that made Dragon's Crown with the controversial mage chick with the huge,
with the boobs bigger than her head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this is very much par for the course for Atlus.
Yeah, it sounds like just like another RPG game. That sounds like their formula for an RPG game.
Yeah.
You can replace like Star Child with maxing out your persona rating.
Yeah.
With somebody like now you can create like an ultimate persona, and that's basically what Star Child. You basically just replace the words with different words, and you'll have like one of their other RPGs. So
Yeah.
It's just.
Now you can make a supernova in your
I would say it'd be like Fable, where like you can have sex with multiple people, but it just goes to a black screen.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, ah. You wake up the next day,
smoking a cigarette. Yeah, that was good.
and then shoot them.
Yeah. You walk in there, they're sitting there like, oh, that was really good. All of a sudden, Beatles' character comes in, boom, boom, drags the bodies outside, just leaves them there for everyone to see. It's like, this is a warning to the rest of
It's
you.
gonna pause my face. I'm just gonna say the bad, and then go. Ah.
And then this game is rated M for mature content. You may be shot in the head after not even hot sex, just a blank screen suggesting that sexual relations took place.
Oh, jeez.
I want to play that game. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.
Honestly, I want to play Conception 3.
Is it coming out for Vita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys
Vita
want to play it.
and
I'll just let you have my Vita, and you can just play it if you guys are thinking about playing it.
It might be too
I could
adult
probably
for
rent
me.
it off of GameFly.
Well, if you want to rent it, I'll just let you have borrow my Vita.
I want anime boobs.
There's also Marvel. Just download it on the Vita, so you just feel
Aw,
like playing some
schmazz,
fighting
no.
games in the middle of it.
I bet IGN's going to give it a 10 out of 10, because that's how great it's going to be. I'm calling it now. Conception 2, IGN rating 10 out of 10.
There you go.
You have it on record. It's Prometheus.
This is Bobby Beetle.
And this is Agamemnon. Thanks for listening.
Listeners.
Check us out. PunchingTheWallsReality.com.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter at PTWOR.
Oh, wait.
We're live on Mixlr every Monday at 8 p.m. Central at Mixlr.com. That's MIXLR.com.
/PTWOR.
Yes. And like our Facebook page, Punching the Walls of Reality, and hit us up on YouTube, also Punching the Walls of Reality, and check out our Let's Plays, which are pretty damn hilarious.
Yeah, youtube.com/punchthewallsreality.
Exactly. If you don't check them out, we will kill you with a double takedown.
Yeah.
Dusac.
Alright, well, that's all we got for today, guys. Thanks for tuning in to
Save File
Corrupted!
Link, here come to town, come to save the Princess Zelda. Gone and taken away, now the children don't play, but they will when Link saves the day. Hallelujah! Now Link, fill up your hearts so you can shoot your sword with power. And when you're feeling all down, the battle will come all out, so you'll be brave and not deceived. Coward. Now Link has saved the day, but got it, Link is granted. So now a Zelda in play, and now a hero shall be. Link, I think your name shall go down into history.
This has been another great presentation of the Four-Eyed Radio Network. You can catch more shows at foureyedradio.com.